Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. My name is David Green. I'm the marketing manager here at IDERA and will be serving as your host for today's event. During today's event, we'll be covering how to turbocharge T-SQL with ChatGPT optimizations. Your presenter for today's event is SQL evangelist Pinal Davi of SQL Authority. Before I hand things off to Pinal to start the event, I would like to take a moment to remind you that we'll be hosting a Q&A shortly after the event. To this end, we ask that you direct any questions that you may have during the course of the event to the questions panel. On a final note, this webinar is being recorded and will be available to view on demand after the webinar has concluded. With that, we're ready to get started. Pinal, you now have the floor.
All right, fantastic. No, thank you very, very much, David, for having me here. And I see a lot of you folks are joining. So it's really amazing. I see a lot of you folks are still here. This is a brand new topic. It's a very interesting. And you know what? I just want to be clear with the first thing right away that at any point of time, any question you have, please write questions because you know what? I like to answer questions. And as if you are, and I would read each of the questions and I'll try to answer everything there. And this is the first time I'm presenting this session. This is a brand new thing I have never done before in terms of all of you. Definitely, I have done some couple of rehearsals. So, you know, this will be a learning for all of us. And one thing we just all have to, oh yeah, and we just want to see the screen. So I'm not just there, my audio would be there. But because I want to give you the maximum screen to you guys, realistic on the screen so we can cover most of the thing. This we are definitely going to see the ChatGPT. So one disclaimer which just goes right there that anything with ChatGPTs or any of other product which is related to Gen AI, if they are going to say something, we should always just take it with a grain of salt because you know they sometimes can make mistakes. And yeah, so that's it. But you know they help us out. So my job, what do? I do SQL Server performance tuning. Only thing I do, I just help people to tune their SQL Server. And since this particular product has come, I'm making less and less and less money. So today I am gonna to show you um, today why I'm making less money because of this product and how you can maximize this kind of product so you don't have to go and hire experts like me. Maybe it's time when we also go out and find a new job. So, you know, that's it. So I've been using this tool here ups and downs and many times when there is a project. Let's see how we can do that. So any point of time you want to see something else, you want me to give some instruction to ChatGPT or this Gen AI tool, that do this, you know, just leave a questions and, you know, I would just try this out in front of you if it is appropriate for the masses. So, yeah, with this, welcome everybody. Email is there. Thank you, IDERA, for hosting us. And let's get started. This is the very first thing I wanted to show. So look at this particular query. Like when people talk about, you know, tuning, optimization, what else we can do? How do we use this product? So let's just start this one. So what are the ways we use to analyze any of the query? Well, first we already have few things in a SQL Server, like execution plan and other things and the statistics and things. Yeah, those are the great thing and we should definitely use them. But you know what? Beyond that, how we can use ChatGPT and what we can get out of it, we'll see. So first thing first, there is a sample query in front of me. I've already turned on the statistics IO and time, and I have already enabled the execution plan. You can just do it by clicking over here, or you can hit just Control M, and this would just enable the execution plan. Now, the first query which I ran over here. Okay, the results is in front of us. So result is not something which we are going to worry today, but we do have a results. And here we can see we have certain amount of the data. Like this is statistics, right? When you enable the statistics IO and time, it gives us lots of good information related to statistics. Like, for example, from product table, the logical reads was 6, physical read was 1, and the sales order detail, the logical read was 22040, physical read was 2, and similar things. Now, these are the things, and then there are some read aheads also here, and the time taken in terms of CPU as well as elapsed time. Now, this is where we can really use ChatGPT and get max out of it. Because you know what? The problem is this. When you get this kind of detail, what to do with it? Not everybody's expert, not everybody know how to read it. And we also do not know if there are so much data. This query is very simple. If you have 20 joins over here, there are multiple queries. How do we read this one? Well, this is exactly where we want to use the ChatGPT. For example, I would just take, before I take this one, I'll take the execution plan over here. And so this one, this is our execution plan. What would I do? I would just take a screenshot of this particular one. And then after, we'll just give this particular execution plan to ChatGPT and we'll ask some meaningful questions. So for example, this plan, I've just taken a screenshot. Now I'll go to ChatGPT and just see what happens. Okay, I'll go over here. I have tested my execution plan and I would just say, analyze my execution plan and tell me what should I do next. This is going to give us awesome result. Let's just see what it tells me. This is interesting. So it uploaded the graphical execution plan. And now we just have to wait till it gives us the answer. Look at that. The very first thing, what we can see that it's telling us, look at, we have missing index, we have cluster index scan, we have cost distribution also not up to the mark. And that's the next step it also tells us. So look at this. This is what, as humans, sometimes we cannot do 100% analysis. We depend on our experience. We take this information, process it, but this is exactly where ChatGPT really excels, or any of the Gen AI tool. Look at this one. It says, if you create the index, this much estimated impact you will save, and this is what it is. Then after it says has match, cost distribution. Next step, create the recommended non-cluster index, or do that, rerun the query, monitor the performance, and ensure. This is really, really awesome. So if I want, I can also further go and say, give me exact T-SQL for index. Let's see if it gives me. It may or may not, but we'll see. It did give me. It just read it from there. It did give me that. But the problem here is the name itself. When we are taking it, right? When we are taking it from SQL Server Management Studio, this is exactly we get the name. And you know what? This one says, oh, not a great idea. It will also give you alternate suggestions, alternate indexes, and this kind of thing. So it has actually suggesting us that we create index on a product ID as a key column and include on a line total. This is exactly what it is telling us. Now we just have to go to our SQL Server Management Studio, copy this particular syntax, right? And we can start working on it. Or we can also right click over here and say missing index detail. We just have to come over here, change the name of the index, copy paste, So there are a lot of things. We just want to work smarter, don't we? That's exactly where we can take advantage of ChatGPT and can get max out of it. Also, this is the one thing, and yeah, we analyzed it. Now there is one more thing we can do, and I want to really show you. This is exactly as a performance tuning expert, I'm taking advantage of this particular feature and making most out of it. And I see a couple of questions coming in. So if you guys have any other question, please write it down. I'm reading it, and after I explain this one more concept, I'm going to answer all of you there. So I just copied my messages over here with the statistics IO. I'll go back to ChatGPT and say, here is my statistics. Any further guidance? Let's see if it wants to give me any guidance or not. But this is good because now it is going to read and going to say this is what the things. So yeah. So a lot of you are asking if, so while this produced the answer, I'll just answer you a couple of things. That is the ChatGPT free? Okay, so this is not about ChatGPT. You can use any other Gen AI tool. There are many out there. You can use the one whichever you prefer, or you can also set up your own thing. Like I had a issue. One of my client would not want to post anything on this third-party tool. They said we have a problem. We cannot let it post anywhere else. We hosted the large language model on their own machine in their own infrastructure, and we ran this kind of question back and forth. It can't get us out, but it does give a right information about the thing about what we provided. And here we can see the exactly logical reads and things and says, yeah, you definitely need that indexing thing. Also, you may consider update statistics and beyond this, and it will start talking about physical reads and re-evolutions and other things. So this is awesome. This is really good. If you have multiple queries, you want to start analyzing it. This is fantastic tool. So instead of me, see, as I definitely know this is taking my job away, this is taking my money away, but instead of fighting this, I'm just adopting this thing to do my job more efficiently. And maybe I'll find a way that with this tool, I'll be so productive, so helpful. I find some insights which I might be missing it. I may start be back to where I was, before. So this is one query. We are not done. So much fun stuff we are going to see. This is the query number 1. Now we will see the query number 2. Now here is the question. This is going to be fun for you. I love to bring interactions between you guys. And so I know so many people of you online and many of you right now watching it offline. So if you are the one who is watching online, please participate. And if you are the one who is watching it offline, because I know after the session, any session I record, after 1 week, I get plenty of questions. And because I think people are watching re-records, and that's a good thing. So here, my question to you, here are 2 queries. Are they same or different? Okay, this is the question for all of you. And this is the hint which I have highlighted. This is very, very interesting. I personally got this one wrong. When I was building this one, I accidentally find this one and I was like, oh yeah, when I look at this thing, what would, as a regular performance tuning expert, when I would look at this one, my first reaction to here is that, oh, this join is not needed. The one which I have highlighted is absolutely not needed. Any guesses why it is not needed? Because and I will wait for a second. If you have any, you can just write in a chat question. I know it's a question, but you're welcome to use it for communicating to me. Why it is not used? All right, okay, I see. A lot of you are typing in. I'm not gonna do so. Yeah, good. A lot of you are saying that this particular one should be definitely removed because this is not used anywhere in the query. You guys are right. You are right. Totally. Look at this. We are not using this anywhere. This is awesome. That means if I remove this one, the query should run faster because I removed the table. I removed the join. I removed the entire operation, which was not needed because employee is not used in a select, from, group, or anywhere, right? Well, let's see. So I want to paste the same thing to ChatGPT and let's see what happens. I'm just pasting it as it is. Yeah, let's see what happens. Oh, it says there is a key difference. Let's see what is the key difference. In summary, okay, I'll just directly go to summary. Anand, don't we go all do that? We directly go to the answer. And then after, if we are convinced or not convinced, we'll read more. So in summary, the first query provides total cells and that have assigned salesperson, while second query has total cells, but it doesn't have assigned salesperson. So yeah, cells is not assigned to a staff. This is interesting difference. While they look same, they are actually not the same. Yeah, they are definitely not the same. This tells me something. So this is exactly, many a time we make changes in a query thinking, yeah, this is how it is. But this is exactly where ChatGPT can help us out. This is exactly where Gen AI tool can help us out. They would just say, you know what? There is a subtle difference which you don't know. You are just going with your own experience. Now, let me run both of this query and analyze them if they are same or not. First of all, I'll just run the query. All right, just blindly, I'm running the query and let's see. All right, the first query done. Great. First query. Now pay attention to this row over here. First query says 3,806 rows. Whereas when I click on a second result set, it says 31,465. Man, if I would have just removed this particular one, I would have just given my client or my users or wrong results. This could be very, very bad actually, isn't it? This can just change the results. This is not exactly what my boss asked. So performance tuning is one thing, but we can validate our queries like this way, where subtle differences it's given to us. Now, when I see the execution plan also, now when I see the execution plan, so I have to rerun the query because I didn't enable first time. Now I enable the execution plan and I'm running this again. And I definitely now know when I look at, oh yeah, it's not, all right, let me click it again. Yeah, perfect. When I see this execution plan, I can totally see the query on the top as a 27%, but whereas query is bottom is a 73% of the cost. How does the cost work? Well, the answer is simple. The cost works very simple because the any query which takes less amount of the resources will have a lower cost, and lower cost means better performance. That means query on a top is actually faster, whereas query on a bottom is really, really slow because it has to process a lot of data, right? And that's the reason it's slow, it takes more resources, it's expensive. So, this is a classic mistake. I would have done it if I didn't had a chat GPT or any kind of tool like this. In a lot of if when I'm working with my clients, right? What happens? They just show me this kind of thing. They say, "Oh, look at the query, Pinal. Anything we think we should be optimizing?" And beside giving some generic suggestions, which I usually give, one of the thing I would have looked at here said, you're not using employee table anywhere. Seems like this particular join is just redundant. Remove it." And they would say, "Oh yeah, we remove it. It will run faster after removing it." And yeah, that's exactly what we want. Thank you, Binal. But I would have actually done something bad. And we all would have learned this thing afterward. So in this particular situation, I am actually very, very happy that I have somebody else also to chat with me and tell me like what is going on. Yeah. So yeah, one of the question is that can ChatGPT tell you how confident it is in its answer? Well, we can configure it such a way, and we can say you can answer it based on what you think. So those kind of thing. But even the answers and confidence level it demonstrates is also an estimation. And so I'm not gonna do. I don't believe it. I actually use it as added help, like the what you have just seen it. It told me something to do something, and I just went and validated. I This is exactly what I was used ChatGPT for, not something I don't trust it 100%. I think we should not trust anybody 100%, including me. And that's why I talk to somebody else. So now, um, oh, I love the comments you guys are giving us. So anything you guys want to do, please leave a comment. I love the answer. You don't have to ask a question. This is just the first 15, 16 minutes. Did you guys like what you have seen it? Yes or no? I would love it. We are still going to see more complex stuff, but I just wanted to get this initial feedback. If you have ever thought about this kind of thing and things, so yeah. And one of my problem. This is a simple cursor. See everything which I thank you guys. Everything which I'm showing you right now is simplified, right? I mean, it's a much simple thing. It's not complicated. And by the way, some of you has asked that did I feed everything to ChatGPT before this? Is there any knowledge base, anything other than no? So just let me just clarify this thing. This is a brand new session of ChatGPT. I'm using the version which is a 4. And yeah, you are SQL Server performance tuning expert. That's the only statement I have made it before. And that's it. There is no prior knowledge. There is nothing has been feed to this one except the things which you have seen it. No, it's smart. It's good. And that's exactly why we want to use it, right? We want help. I want extra help, somebody who can help me out to think. And this is exactly the point. Any tool which is out there, we always look at like, is this tool going to help me out? Just try it out. And what we are seeing right now is just top of the iceberg. We can't actually do performance tuning with ChatGPT. If you have a real production system, then you really need something more complex which can handle lots of other things and can analyze thousands of queries which are running in parallelly and also can understand impact of one query on another query or one thing on another one. And don't worry about those things, right? That is the thing. We want to learn how one thing impacts another one and how you can comprehensively look at your system's performance. And for that, I have I have my friend Mark, who will also, I'll get him to talk at the end of the session. He will also explain that part. So stay tuned for that. And let's start. So couple of you are asking me a very interesting question about XML and things. I'll get to that. So this is good one. Thank you guys. So now here is another one. Whenever I see cursor, I get mild heart attack actually. It gives me a little pain in my heart because cursor is good. Again, I'm not the one who hates cursor. It's just cursor who hates the SQL server. That's the problem. It's not between me and them. It's between them and them. And that's the problem. So what happens is that cursor is definitely great for a developer-based thinking, developer mind, where we just think about row by row processing, and that is good. We take a row, we do something, and we move on. But SQL Server is all about set theory. It wants to do multiple things together. So every time I see cursor, the very first statement I make it to my client is like, oh, you have cursor. Cursor should be used for admin stuff. That's why it was built. And for dev, you should think about set theory. And their first remark is that, oh, yeah, okay, this is the cursor, and they will show me 1,000 line of cursor and say, is there any way to convert it to set based operation? So when I give advice, and within a first second, I'm just like stumped. Like they're asking, I give them suggestion. First of all, they paid me to give them suggestion. As soon as I give them suggestion, they push back on the suggestion saying, no, tell us how to do it. I have a problem because I sometimes cannot understand everything in a 1 second. I'm not machine. I'm just like you. I'm equally confused like you. I just have more experience in tuning system. I've been doing it for 16 years, so I know few things. But I can't do some work. So let's go back to our ChatGPT. Let's assume this is our 1,000 line of cursor. Yeah, I just copied the cursor. Let's go to ChatGPT and just paste it. And how does it converts this? Because I already put a question over here. It just knows that it's a comment, and comment is a cursor. This is what I have tell we are asking him. It's just smart. It figures it out from the context. Sometimes when there are outages, it just has outages also. So that's why I've already done one more. I've already ran everything which I'm telling you here. So if there was an outage, I would have switched to the previously executed um, results and would have done it. So look at that. It just did it. Look at how big the code I pasted. And it says, yeah, definitely you can convert it to set base, and this would be faster. How much faster? Did you guys see what it just did? It took this entire thing, understood, and rewrote it. This is good. So I'll take this. So yeah, a couple of you are saying we are not allowed to paste in outside. Exactly. You don't have to paste your code outside. You should host a large language model yourself, and that you can definitely do that. There are many people, some of my clients has done that one. So they are actually not sending any of the data outside. They host this thing inside, and then they ask questions, and you can do that. There is also another tool which is called LangChain. If you are familiar with it, the word is LangChain, and LangChain can also take multiple LLMs, which may be your in-house out and the other ones, and can start building chains of knowledge base. So those are the things. This field is amazing, and I am so happy actually that I'm just delighted. Okay, a couple of people are saying, what about the safety of our code? I think it's equally safe or equally risky as you are using your private email addresses like any of them. Let's say Gmail, Hotmail, or whatever uh, Outlook or whatever you are using on a cloud. It's equally. These are just 3-4 names, but if equally safe as them, equally riskier as them. That's how it is. And again, as I said, I'm just using ChatGPT, but you can use any other like tools. Cloud, there are another tool called Cloud, and there are other Gemini, and there are so many tools. Use any of the tool which you find it comfortable, and you don't even have to use SQL Server. You can just use MySQL, Postgres, or whatever you like to do it. Here today, I'm here. This purpose of the session is to educate you that how you can work smartly and how you can start using various tools, how you can ask right set of the questions to get most out of it. So now I have got this one. Let's check the performance. So I already have, as I said, I already have the same thing prepared over here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create two store procedures. So first, I'm going to create this cursor. Second, I'm going to create this set base thing. And after I create them, I'm going to run. So here, I'm running the cursor, and here, I'm running the set base thing. And after that, I'm measuring the time. So let's see which one is faster. Let's see. Look at the time difference in a millisecond. The cursor-based operation actually took 1363 milliseconds, which is over a second, whereas in a second one, it's just 59 milliseconds. Now, don't just blindly trust that DT has done the correct thing. I have definitely validated with my my results, and that's how I'm saying that it's the same thing. But you should definitely try this one out uh, in your production system, and you should definitely test the results. Just don't blindly trust it. But it at least give you that you can do that. Now you just have to do the testing and other things and something like that. So yeah, well, yeah, you're right. So a couple of you are saying the first query would have changed the second. Yes, absolutely, those kind of thing happens. But in our case, it's just increasing the price by 10. So it's not like somebody would just totally fall off the list or second query has to do the less stuff. That's the same amount of the stuff. And again, this is just um, explaining you how things works, how you can take a complex cursor like this and just convert it into few lines. That's it. So I hope you guys like this one. So any other question? I love this kind of questions, and I've been answering those questions as we go. Yeah. Uh, all right. I think most of the questions I answered. Yeah, somebody is asking, can I use Copilot? As I said, you can use the tool which you feel comfortable, which gives you the right set of the results for you. So go ahead, use it. What makes you comfortable? Again, I'm not here to market only one tool. Point of, I don't want to market any tool at all. Now here is interesting stuff. Look at this. I would run this configurations of my system. I'll copy this. And then after I'll paste this particular command, analyze the configuration and provide the top 5 suggestions to optimize server. How cool that is. Oh yeah, a couple of people are asking me if I have told SQL Server, ChatGPT that I'm using SQL Server. Yes, I did. That was the very first line. That's the only instruction I've given to my ChatGPT, that you are SQL Server expert. That's it. That's the only thing it knows. Rest of it doesn't know. So I'll go back one more time. You are SQL Server performance tuning expert. That's the only instruction I've given. Rest of that, it's just figuring out itself. So now I pasted this particular configurations value, and then I would also paste my comment, which I have it, analyze the configuration and provide the top 5. Let's see what happens. So I'll go over here at the end of it. I pasted it, hit enter. Let's wait. Ooh, that's a great question. Can you collect the weight states and ask ChatGPT for advice? That's my next demonstration. How did you see those kind of stuff? Okay, good. Look at this one. This is going to tell me the 5 important things which I should be doing. Not necessarily you follow this advice, but you know what? That's a great advice. Matter of the fact, in my case, I got all of them are correct. First of all, it's saying currently set it to 10, which is not optimal depending on your hardware. If you have it more than 10, then it just gives you this one. You can definitely check, try out, and find out whichever is right. And it says, cost threshold 5, not a good idea. Go between 25 and 50. This is what I tell to my clients many a time. When I go to consultation, this is what I exactly tell them. This is what exactly it is telling me. Well, there are few things more we should consider before giving advices like this blindly. We should just not say that, go ahead and do it. There are other things which we should do it, but at least it gives us a point to consideration. Or one of my client, I recently told them they were using this kind of Gen AI tool. I told them, I said, why don't you ask Gen AI what you should be doing? Then run the checklist by me, and I'll tell you what my experience with each of them should be. You should be doing it, not doing it, or cancel. And then we go faster in our consultation engagement. We can do more instead of just uh, spending time if they do their own homework. And these are great suggestions, and we can do that. So yeah, what do you guys think about this one? This kind of configuration analysis, it just does it for you, right? But I would like to know your feedback. You guys are so many people, but not everybody's typing. Um, yeah, a lot of your people are saying that we should are using a free version or paid version. You can use any of them. While I'm using the ChatGPT 4, which is kind of paid, but it's not that expensive. And matter of the fact, this is not. You can get the same kind of answers by pasting it with the text with the ChatGPT 3.5. It's pretty much similar answer. And the only thing I'm using it because it can allow me to upload files, which 3.5 doesn't allow me. That's it. So that's why I am I'm using 4, but you can use any. So oh, I love the comments which you guys are saying that, and yeah, good, cool, call, all is good. I totally understand. You guys forgive little things like we forgive ChatGPT. Sometimes makes big mistake. So yeah, all is fine. Yeah. Uh, and oh, fantastic questions. If you made these changes, would ChatGPT make a better recommendation? Well, I've tried this one. So I make these changes, come back over here, and ChatGPT will start saying, this is taken care of it. I'll give you another one. Sometimes you just have to give a further prompt, like I said, next 5. I don't know what will happen. I don't know if it's going to remember or not. I don't know. Or I did give me. Oh, it gave me 2 responses. Like, oh, wow, fantastic. Now it is telling me 2 different responses and said, pick one. This is even better. I'm getting 2 meals. It's a price of 1. Buy 1, get 1 free. This is good. Okay. So now it gave me a few more suggestions and said, like, here, do this or do this one. Now here, either you can do both of them or you can pick this one. I actually like this one because it also has some general advice at the end of it. I'll just pick this one, and now it has given me another 5. So yeah, you can continue working on this as you want to make improvement. And again, at any point of time, you are confused. Okay, if let's assume that you are definitely confused, you're not sure, ask more explanation. And if you're still not sure, just don't do it. We are still not there. That machine can do everything. That's little away. So just don't do it. Don't try to automate based on the recommendation which is here. If you don't have a confidence, just stop. And or you can just write an email to me, and I would be happy to answer you in that case if you're ever stuck. And just mention that you're friends of IDERA, and I'm your friend. Then friends is friend. A equal to B equal to C, so A equal to C. So I'm friends of IDERA. You guys are friends of IDERA. So we're all friends of IDERA together. So you can just write to me, and I'll be happy to answer you. All right, so time for a next thing to see. I hope you guys are liking this one. I put a lot of effort to build this one. You guys are the first set of the people who are watching it, and if you're watching it, I know many of you will watch again afterwards on a recording. So if you even have questions, just write to me. Don't worry about it. If any of the question which is not answered, then you can write to me. So this is about weight state analysis. So what I can do is that I'm just going to run it. So I'm not here to explain today how the weight statistics works, but you can definitely check out the resource center out of blockbuster presentation on weight statistics with IDERA also. So you can just watch the previous ones just there. And those are the fun ones too. So go ahead, watch it, and you'll love it. So if you still have questions, but what you can do is that you can just copy this all. First, let me paste the questions. Analyze the weight statistics to identify the cause and significant weights. Yeah, this is it. Again, these are the very simple instructions. I'm not giving some very complex prompt or those kind of thing. I'm trying. Actually, I'm carefully avoiding it to show you that you don't have to know everything so well. You just have to do your work well, and this is how you should be doing it. So now I'll go back and paste the weight statistics. Let's see what it has to tell me. Again, this is not a real workload, right? So it can tell us anything. Okay. All right. What is it saying? So first one I about Azure, let's ignore that and read right over the second one because that's what I usually see at many of my clients. These wait type scenario are waiting to share log. High wait time here can be due to blocking or deadlocking. Investigate current. I actually know this is happening. So here it's not up to the mark. Here this is where the Chat GPT is giving you generic information. It says examine querying, create blocking sessions. Actually, it is telling us to read the SQL Server manual from the start to end and pretty much try everything. This is where you need a little bit more expertise. Actually, this is happening. I know this usually happens when you have longer running queries, the query which we take long period of time, and this is where it happens if there is any update involved in it. This is when it happens. Second one is the network asynchronous network IO. Let's see what it says. Yeah, it has analysis is correct. Client applications, waiting for the client application to process data. This is because we were retrieving thousands of the row in a SSMS. And while the thousands of the row was being retrieved, this particular waits time comes into play. So that's not good. So this actually tells more about your application. So it has identified it correctly and says optimize your client application. Do some caching or just don't run any other tool while you are doing it. This is thread pool. This is not good one. I was not expecting this would come in my machine because I actually didn't run out of any of the thread pool. This is worth investigating or some kind of issue going on with particularly my SQL Server because I should not have a thread pool issue. I have plenty of threads and I'm not running anything. And this is where we have to go beyond SQL Server, with SQL Server dynamic management views, or ChatGPT or any third-party tool. And after this, we should depend on somebody more expert than all of us, and that's Mark. But Mark will talk a little later after I'm done talking about this one. But I hope you guys love this one. This is interesting, and I really find it interesting. I think it's making my life easy, and I don't have to go and if you guys can learn from ChatGPT or any of Gen AI tool, why not? Right? We are here to learn. It may not be perfect, it may not be correct, but it gives you something. And if it is totally wrong, then humans also can be wrong. It's not that in my consultation engagement, I give a 10 suggestion. Out of that, only 9 might be right. One or two, I can be easily incorrect as well. We are going a little faster, but that's okay. I can cover more stuff then, isn't it? Okay, so this is going to be fun one. This is going to be interesting one. And there are 3 queries. Here is, I want to make a puzzle for you guys. Okay, so this is the time. If you've not participated in the conversation so far, this is the time when you participate. We are not going to judge you or anything. So I have a question for you. Which query out of all these 3 query do you think will be faster? Query number 1, or query number 2, or query number 3? All the three will give a same result. So if you're talking about result, it's going to be the same. It's going to be identical. There is no change. But which query will be faster? I'm not asking you why. Come on. Why is not a question. Uh, why is like teasing? This is not your interview. Here we are together. We are friends, right? And it's okay to be wrong. When you become wrong, it's good. That's when you learn. Oh, yeah. Oh, if somebody's asking why you are not seeing the conversation which I'm talking about, because I read. It's only access to I have it. If everybody reads everything, there are certain stuff really I cannot even say on a webinar. Who writes those stuff? So it's fun. Anyway, all right, guys, fantastic. So many answers. I love the engagement. Thank you very much. And we're right on a track. I'm gonna run it, and I'm gonna to if you have not paid any attention to this session so far, no problem. This is the time in this one demo, you can learn a lot more than what you have seen so far. I'm going to run this query, and it will take some time to return the results. Somebody's asking, do I need to clear the cache? I don't have to clear the cache because they are actually different query. When there is an option at the end of it, it becomes different query. And also caching is really, really misunderstood concept. Caching doesn't work the way we think. Like, someday if IDERA invites me back, I'll do the session on a query performance tuning and I'll explain more about caching, and it would be fun to learn a cache doesn't work the way you think. Okay, so now 3 identical sessions. Let me go to execution plan. And now you look at the execution plan. Can you guys tell me which query do you guys think is the faster? Third one, right? Because it took only 1% of the cost. And then there is a second one, which only took 2% of the cost. And this is 97. Looks like the one with the 97 is the most expensive one. Isn't that true? Okay. Well, actually, I changed the name of the demonstration. This is where the fun begins. This is where things goes beyond SQL Server and ChatGPT. Now, if I go over here and check, I get different results. The query number 3 has elapsed time over here, which is the fastest. Query number 2, and this query number 1 is the most expensive. But in terms of CPU, query number, this is the time to retrieve the data. But actual work done by CPU, if you look at it, this, and this, query number 1 is the fastest actually. So should we call query number 1 the best? Well, in terms of CPU, query number 1 is best. In terms of execution, query number 3 is best. And in terms of IO, query number 1 is best. It reads the least amount of the data. Look at that. And look at this data. Actually, query number 1 is better because it reads less amount of the data, uses less CPU. It took a little more time to display results, but that's maybe because of execution plan. I should turn off the execution plan and run it again. Let's see. I don't know. I turn off the execution plan. This time we'll just have statistics. Okay, all 3 queries are done. Let's go back, check messages. Query number 1, 2.8. Now there is no execution plan. And least amount of the CPU, least amount of the IO reads. Query number 2, more CPU, more time, and lots of reads, lots of, like, so much. You can't compare 1200 with this big number. This is huge expensive. But when we look at the execution plan would happily say the query number 1 is the most expensive one, but that's not true. Here, execution plan is clearly lying. That's why you should not depend on execution plan completely. There is always place for the human in with any tool. You can't just trust it. So now, if I take this execution plan and tell ChatGPT that, hey, you read this one, and will it work or not? Your ChatGPT will say, yo, the first one is the most expensive one because it's 97 one. ChatGPT will only analysis the data which you provide. That's why exactly we need human here and there. So now, if I take this one, this statistics, go to ChatGPT, paste that one, and now if I ask ChatGPT, which one of the following query performs best? Okay. Let's see what it tells me. I did not give it any query at all. I only gave it the data. Let's see what it tells. So it's telling us that first one is the one with least resource intensive. It's first of all teaching us. So it's telling us that you didn't provide any query. Okay, fair. I'll provide you queries. I'll say, here are the queries for the previous response. Here is the statistics. Now I'll paste the statistics one more time. It definitely remembers, but I want to make it easy. When we are working with some friends, you want to make their life easy. Which query is the best in terms of performance? All right. Now, what does it say? Fantastic. Oh, thank you for comments, which you guys are saying. It's telling us based on a provided data, it's just going. Yeah, so eventually it says in summary, based on available information and typical performance metrics, the first query without any hints likely perform best in terms of efficiency, CPU utilization. And if your boss gives you this kind of thing, sometimes we lack of the, I am usually lack of the words when I'm too technical. I have a tough time explaining my boss. And they just say, can you just tell me the report of this three query? At least I can use this kind of fancy word from here and say, oh, yeah, the first query is in terms of the efficiency and resource utilization, assuming its CPU and uptime were not significantly worse than something like that. So it also helps. All right, so this is what I wanted to talk about, this particular one. There are so many things we can do. I mean, we can do, as I mentioned to you, we can just, uh, paste the execution plan directly and say, which query is better. This is another execution plan, which I didn't show you, but it will show you, it will come on a screen in a second. So here I have pasted it out and it will say, look at that. The one with the least amount of the query, that is the better. That's why you don't have to exactly post. So if you provide the wrong information to ChatGPT, it will give you the wrong information. So if I give an execution plan, then it will keep on saying the query, this query is better and that query is better. So all right. So a couple of folks are asking, can ChatGPT also analyze the XML execution plan and things? Well, great question. This is the execution plan. I'll go over here. So execution plan XML, copy this one. So I took this one back and I'll say, analyze it. Let's see if it can do. It does actually. I know I've done it. So it will now, I just pasted the XML part and it can do that. And this is exactly why you need to, because it's quite possible if you can't fit the entire execution plan in one screenshot, you can convert that to XML by right clicking on it, paste that XML over here, and there you go. You are getting this information, what you need. And it's also telling you the recommendations and what are the weight statistics, because now XML has a way more information. It analyzes the way more thing. And it's awesome. It tells you way more thing, and you just do what you think is appropriate. And if you still get stuck, see, after you fix all this simple stuff or all this thing which is suggesting, you would left out with only the most difficult challenges with SQL Server performance tuning. This is the time where once you graduate from your own knowledge, once you graduate tuning your system from the chat GPT, this is exactly when you have to depend on another tool or another way, or you can reach out to me. I would be always, if it is SQL Server performance tuning questions, I'll happy to answer. And yes, definitely, if you go to lower version of the chat GPT or other tool, sometimes there is a limit of the words, and if it is too long. But most of the tool which we are using it nowadays, I've seen it. And if you are hosting your own LLM, there is actually no limit of how much data processing you can do. So you can, as I said, you can definitely reach out to me if you have any help. Or sometime there is a problem. There is a problem of concurrency. There was 6 questions about concurrency which I didn't answer today. Like, how do you do the concurrency management? How do you handle about the impact of other running queries? Those things this tool cannot do. This tool has a limitations as well. Also, a couple of folks have asked, what about deadlock analysis? Can it do? Definitely. It can definitely do the deadlock analysis because it's nothing but XML at the end of that. And it can use that XML. Here is my email address. Those who folks are asking, you can reach out to me if you want if you want a free performance tuning scripts. Also, you can definitely go to my blog and can get it from that. There are so many of it. But again, you don't have to go. You can get your questions from these tools or any other way. So yeah, if I was talking about what about the log analysis? You can do that. Paste everything ChatGPT asks, and if it cannot do that, you guys can always reach out to any of us. But how do you manage your enterprise grade product? Because this, what I'm just showing you is the simple queries, 1 query, 2 query, but you might have 1,000 query in your presentations, right? And then there is a lot more things going in a parallel. How do you comprehensively analyze your system and get max out of it? That's exactly the question you should be wondering now, because now you took care of the low-hanging fruits. How do you do big? How do you go big? And how do you actually perform, which is really needed in an enterprise grade environment? This is exactly, I'm going to hand over to my friend Mark. Mark, over to you. And please answer this particular question to all the friends of the IDERA, how we can do more and big.
Thank you, Pinal.
Can make you presenter as well.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And did you pass it over to me? Let's see.
I don't know how to do that.
I'll take it right here.
Look at that.
There we go.
Guys, even I don't know. All right.
We're good. Thank you, Pinal. And I really found that interesting.
Yes.
I thought it was interesting that you could take a screenshot of execution plan and just pop it in there, and it would review it and come back with all the recommendations. That was very interesting. But IDERA hosts these webcasts as a benefit to our customers. I hope you all will come to our additional webcasts in the future. But we like to take just a few minutes to plug some of the products that we offer. And because we're talking about query optimization, I wanted to bring up a list of our overall tools, but focus on some of the areas that would align with the topic today. First of all, I just want to point out IDERA SQL Diagnostic Manager for SQL Server. As Pinal was pointing out, you want to have a great view of your entire enterprise and the trends of query activity and performance going on across the entire enterprise. This product is our flagship monitoring product, but it's more than just a monitoring tool, because it does provide deep dive, drill down diagnostics, different tools for analyzing those query weights and execution plan. But even beyond that, there's a feature of the product called prescriptive analytics that will scan a SQL instance, much like what you saw today with the ChatGPT, but it has its own built-in intelligence. So some of the questions were directed towards, sending your code outside your environment. Well, this product is completely internal to your environment, and it will analyze queries, it'll look at indexes, it'll look at configuration, and it provides you a comprehensive report on everything that could potentially be wrong with that SQL instance, and of course, even queries. So it's been around for over 2 decades. It's a very mature monitoring tool, so feel free to download that product and check it out. Also, again, aligned with the presentation today, I want to point out DB Optimizer, which is also similar to the prescriptive analytics in the sense that it does do some query analysis. It even goes a step further. It will rewrite queries and provide you all kinds of recommendations for how to improve the queries, and also does some load testing and can show you the results of how the query will perform with different ways that it rewrites the query. So that's another tool that you might want to check out as well. There's also the SQL Doctor tool. This is aligned with the same features of prescriptive analytics and SQL Diagnostic Manager, so keep that in mind. But again, it will act like kind of a SQL consultant that will analyze a SQL instance for 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then it comes back with everything that it identified as a potential issue in your environment. And you can see some of the other tools that are listed here. Feel free to check out any of these products, because they do help you with overall monitoring, management, tuning, being able to develop SQL code as well, and also regulatory compliance or securing your SQL instances. So some final tools, and we'll wrap it up, would be the Rapid SQL tool as well. It helps you with writing high-performance SQL code and queries, or building overall queries with Visual Query Builder, and also simplify your debugging of your queries. There's also Aqua Data Studio. Now, this product's been very popular lately. This allows you to link up data across multiple data sources, different data sources. So that's something that's been really interesting, and to be able to visualize the results and graphically within the tool. And then the last tool I'll point out is VB Power Studio, which does provide database administration, but also analyzes schema changes, but also helps with SQL code development. But all of these products, and there's many more that we offer on our website, they're all available for download as a free trial. You can go out to www.idera.com, go to the product drop-down list, and select any of these products and you'll be able to immediately click a button to start a trial. Just submit some basic information, your name, company, phone number, and then you're immediately presented with the software to download with a trial license already embedded in it, so you can hit the ground running. You don't have to wait for us to email you a license key. But hopefully you see benefits in these tools. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us or reach out to your account manager, and they can assist you with getting the appropriate resource on a call, or even have a one-on-one formal presentation of that product as well. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I'm going to hand it back over to David, and we'll go from there. I appreciate it, everyone.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mark and Pinal. Thank you for walking us through this presentation and for both of your time. It's always a pleasure to have the two of you walk us through some of the amazing things that you can do with the current technology out here. So yeah, just wanted to say thank you as well to our attendees. Thank you so much for being a part of this day with us, and I hope that you guys will come back and rewatch this recording at a later time. Continue to reach out to us with any questions that you may have. We're always happy to hear from you, always happy to answer those, and you know, be on the lookout for some follow-up from us after this event with maybe some blog content that is relevant to this. So if you like this, hopefully we'll be, you know, bringing content to you that is in a similar vein. So as always, thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we look forward to you seeing us next time. Thanks.